What's up, everybody? I'm Lockouts, and in this video, we're going to be talking about pre-patch class changes for my favorite casters, Priest. Check this out.
Won't you do a favor for me? Take your mouse and click the button. Won't you subscribe to me? Lockouts providing the content that you see. I'm visually stimulating your mind 1 minute at a time.
Alright guys, jumping right over here into it. This is going to be blue sticky pre-patch notes posted in the forums by Blizzard themselves. So if you guys want to read this for yourself, the direct link will be down below. And this video isn't sponsored by anybody. It's sponsored by my Twitch actually. So, you know, ting! It's over there. Go and check it out. Again, one more time. Ting! It's right there. Go and, you know, help a fella out. All right, everybody, so jumping right into this, what we're going over is a blue sticky post, and this is in the forums of all the Shadowlands pre-patch class changes, and I'm dropping videos for everything for all 13 classes, so if you want to, you know, feel free to go ahead and hit my channel and check out all the videos that I'm posting. It's going to be after this one if you guys are interested to see what every single class is changing. There is a lot to get down to with the Priest changes, and Priest, a lot of people don't know this about me, but it's one of the very first classes that I played as a main for the very first 6 years of my World of Warcraft career. So I'm interested to hopefully get back into some Shadow Priesty gameplay and dust off my old Shadow Priest that I have like 190 played days on. Alright, so Fade now has an additional effect. Fade now reduces the range at which enemies will attack you. All priests can now use the following abilities: Shadow Word Pain, a word of darkness that causes shadow damage instantly, and an additional shadow damage over 12 seconds. Shadow Priest generate 4 insanity. Sick. Shadow Word Death, a word of dark binding that inflicts shadow damage to the target. If the target is not killed by Shadow Word Death, the caster takes damage equal to the damage inflicted upon the target. Damage increased by 175% to targets below 20% health. Awesome. PvP talent changes is new PvP talent. Thought Steal, peer into the mind of an enemy attempting to steal a known spell. If stolen, the victim cannot cast that spell for 20 seconds. Can only be used on humanoids with mana. If you're unable to find a spell to steal, the cooldown of Thought Steal is reset. So that's kind of cool. Discipline, new ability, Mind Seer, corrosive shadow energy radiates from the target, dealing shadow damage over 4.5 seconds to all enemies within 10 yards of the target. New ability, Mind Blast. Blast the target's mind for shadow damage and has an additional effect. Mind Blast prevents some of the next damage dealt by the enemy. That's kind of cool. Rapture now immediately casts Power Word Shield on your friendly target when used. If no ally is targeted, Power Word Shield will be cast on yourself, and its duration has been reduced to 8 seconds from 10. So that's a little bit of a nerf right there, but that's cool how Rapture actually works now. Shadow Covenant has been redesigned. Make a shadowy pact, healing the target and 4 other injured allies within 30 yards for 9 seconds. Your shadow spells deal 25% increased damage and healing, but you cannot cast holy spells. 30-second cooldown, cost 5% base mana. Holy Nova now deals reduced damage if there are more than 5 targets. So it looks like everything is just about capped at 5 or 8 targets. The following talents have been adjusted. New talent, Spirit Shell, replaces Luminous Barrier for 10 seconds. Penance, Power Word Radiance, and Atonement create Absorb Shield. Instead of healing, replaces Rapture when talented. Spirit Shell does not have a global cooldown. That's awesome. Schism now increases your spell damage to the target by 25% for 40 seconds, or was 40%, so this is a nerf right here. But going back into Spirit Shell, man, they're bringing Spirit Shell back, guys. Spirit Shell is awesome. I remember busting a bubble on ourselves as disc and getting that thing all pumped up and running in there head first with that big old Spirit Shell bubble on you. And Holy. Now these are the changes for Holy. Circle of Healing is no longer a talent and is learned by all Holy Priests at 39. That's the way that should have been from the start, but that's awesome. Holy Fire's instant damage has been increased by 300%, but now has a 1.5 second cast time. That's cool. Holy Nova now deals reduced damage and if there are more than 5 targets. So if it's more than 5 targets, Holy Nova is going to deal reduced damage. The following talents have been adjusted. New talent, Renewed Faith, replaces Enduring Renewal. Your healing is increased by 10% on targets with your Renew. A new talent, Prayer Circle, replaces Circle of Healing. Using Circle of Healing, it reduces the cast time of your Prayer of Healing by 25% for 8 seconds. Afterlife now also increases the range of your healing spells, while in Spirit of Redemption by 30%. Apotheosis now also resets the cooldown of your holy words when activated. PvP talent changes. New PvP talent, Cardinal Mending. Prayer of Mending now heals the target for 10% of their maximum health, ignoring any healing reduction effects. That's cool. New PvP talent, Divine Ascension. You ascend into the air out of harm's way. While floating, you are only able to cast holy spells. That's sick. Divine Attendant has been removed. Now Shadow. We're getting into Shadow. Gosh, guys, there's a lot here. So we're going to try to cover this as fast as we can. New Mastery, Shadow Weaving. Your damage is increased by 4% for each Shadow Word Pain, Vampiric Touch, and Devouring Plague on the target. During Void form, all targets receive the maximum effect. New ability, Devouring Plague, afflicts the target with disease that instantly causes shadow damage, plus an additional 4 shadow damage over 6 seconds. Heals you for 300% of the damage dealt. That's cool. New ability, Dark Thoughts, passive. For each one of your damage over time effects on the target, your Mind Flay and Mind Seer have a 2% chance to instantly add a charge of Mind Blast, causing it to be instantly cast and allowing it to be cast while channeling Mind Flay or Mind Seer within 6 seconds. That's pretty cool. Void form has been redesigned, now has a 90-second cooldown and increases damage by 20% for 15 seconds. Void form no longer reduces the cooldown of Mind Blast, but now refreshes the cooldown of Mind Blast when you gain 2 charges while in Void form. You no longer gain haste every 0.5 seconds while in Void form. So there's a nerf, but there's a bunch of other buff there. Void Eruption cast time is reduced by 40% and no longer requires 90 insanity to be cast. That's cool. And Shadowy Apparitions have been redesigned. When you use Mind Blast, Devouring Plague, or Void Bolt, you also create a shadowy version of yourself that floats towards all targets afflicted by your Vampiric Touch, dealing shadow damage. Critical strikes will cause 2 apparitions to be created. Gosh, that's awesome. Shadow Word Death no longer generates insanity. Mind Blast Insanity generation is now 8. It was 12, so that's a tiny nerf. Vampiric's Touch Insanity generation is now 5. It was 6. Oh, big deal. Void Bolt's Insanity generation is now 15. It was 20. Mind Seer Insanity generation is now 6. It was 8. The following talents have been adjusted. New talent, Death and Madness, replaces Shadowy Insight. If a target dies within 6 seconds after being struck by your Shadow Word Death, you gain 73 Insanity over 4 seconds, and the cooldown of your Shadow Word Death is reset. Awesome. New talent, Unfurling Darkness. Okay. Replaces Shadow Word Void. Okay. After casting Vampiric Touch on a target, your next Vampiric Touch within 8 seconds is an instant cast and deals shadow damage immediately. This effect cannot occur more than once every 15 seconds. That is awesome. Wow, I don't remember that ever being an instant cast. New talent, Psych Link, replaces Shadow Word Death. Mind Blast deals 50% of its damage to all talents afflicted by your Vampiric Touch within 40 yards. Wow. New talent, Searing Nightmare, replaces Dark Void. Instantly deals shadow damage to all enemies around the target and afflicts them with Shadow Word Pain. If the enemy is already afflicted by your Shadow Word Pain, Searing Nightmare's damage is increased by 185%, only usable while channeling Mind Seer. Wow. New talent, Damnation, replaces Lingering Insanity. Instantly afflicts the target with Shadow Word Pain, Vampiric Touch, and Devouring Plague, free of cost. Wow. New talent, Ancient Madness, replaces Dark Ascension. Void form increases your critical strike chance by 30% for 15 seconds, reducing by 2% every second. That's cool. A new talent, Hungering Void, replaces Legacy of the Void. Void Bolt causes the target to become vulnerable to the Void, increasing damage taken from the priest for 6 seconds. Void Bolt Cast on vulnerable targets will also extend the duration of your Void form by 1 second. 2 seconds of Void Bolt critically strikes. This effect can only be active on one target at any one time. I love how they put tongue twisters in here for when you gotta crack this off to people. Shadow Crash has been redesigned. Hurl a bolt of slow-moving, far-reaching shadow energy at the destination, dealing shadow damage to all targets within 8 yards. If Shadow Crash hits a lone target, they suffer 25% increased damage from your next Shadow Crash within 15 seconds. Stacks up to 2 and generates 8 insanity. Awesome. Void Bolt, Void Torrent, no longer pauses your insanity while used, but now applies Devouring Plague and refreshes the duration of all of your shadow damage over time effects while channeling. That's cool. Surrender to Madness no longer instantly generates 100 insanity when used and has a 1.5 minute cooldown. It was 3 minutes, so there's another buff. Additionally, Surrender to Madness and now has a heartbeat sound effect that speeds up as you reach the end of your spell's duration. That's kind of cool. And PvP talent changes. New PvP talent, Lasting Plague, increases the duration of your Devouring Plague by 6 seconds. And then Driven to Madness has been redesigned. Now reduces the cooldown of your Void Eruption by 3 seconds when you take damage. Shadow Mania has been completely removed. Alright guys, so that is a huge amount of changes for the Shadow Priest alone. I mean, it is astronomical actually how much that they're changing for Priest all the way around. And it looks like Shadow Priest is going to be super, super strong. I'm very, very excited to actually play Shadow Priest, so I can't wait for it to come out in Shadowlands, and I can't wait for them to finally release it. And if you guys haven't already, click all the little buttons around here. Like, follow, subscribe. Leave your comments down below. I'm interested to see what you guys have to say about Priest. I can't wait to be able to play mine, and hopefully they're really, really, really strong. Anyways, I'm Lockouts, everybody. Peace.
Won't you do a favor for me? Take your mouse and click the button. Won't you subscribe to me? Lockouts providing the content that you see. I'm visually stimulating your mind 1 minute at a time.